What is going on, and welcome back to another episode of the Precise Cricket Podcast. And today it is just me, myself and I. In the UK over the last few weeks we have actually been in lockdown, so getting guests on in person who we all had lined up has been tricky, as you're not allowed to. So today it is just me. We have taken a couple weeks off simply because I've been on holiday. I booked a last minute trip to the Canary Islands. They have an air bridge with the UK. So once Boris spoke on the Sunday, I booked a flight Tuesday afternoon around 4 p.m. and was on the first plane out on the Wednesday to the Canary Islands. So yes, it was very, very nice to get away, and I actually needed a recharge. Having had a very, very busy summer, then pretty much straight into the winter, because in the UK we finish the season a lot later than normal. So normally I have September off from coaching, completely get away from the game. But we actually played our last game 20th, 25th of September, somewhere around then, and then I went back into indoor training literally 10 days later. So for me personally, it's been a nice 2-week break and much needed to recharge my batteries. The trip itself away was amazing. The weather was stunning, 22 to 25 degrees every day. A slight wind, so it wasn't too hot, wasn't too cool. It was kind of perfect. But very, very different. It was very, very quiet out there, as you would expect. But no, it was very COVID secure and very safe. So again, I feel very, very recharged. And I'm looking forward to getting back into coaching in 2 weeks' time, hopefully when they lift the lockdown restrictions in the UK on the 3rd. I'm hoping we can get back into some coaching. But actually, it's something I want to talk about today. I want to talk about being refreshed and getting away from the game when you can. And I think it's a very, very important topic that we don't often speak about that much, simply because everyone thinks that they have to play every single day to get better and improve and play as much cricket as possible, when sometimes all you need is a bit of a break, a bit of a detox from the game to come back fully recharged, mentally refreshed, and to give it a proper crack again. So in the UK, when the summer comes around, and the reason I keep mentioning the UK is because I live in the UK, it's where I've always lived and it's what I can relate to, but you know, wherever it is in the world, either in the southern hemisphere, it's the same thing. So in the summer, when you play cricket, it is full on. It starts for us in the UK in April, ends in September. You do a bit of pre-season training, and then literally from the second to last week of April, first league game usually starts first week of May, all the way until the first week of September. You're playing every Saturday in a competitive league game. Some people are playing an evening game a week. They're training once a week. They're doing some fitness work on top. They're having additional nets with their friends and their mates. And they're also sometimes playing on Sunday. So there is a lot of cricket, especially if you're young. And as you get older and you get through uni, you tend to pick and choose which cricket you play from a club perspective, simply because you've got other things and other priorities in your life. But the under-18s, there's festival weeks, there's so much cricket that you have to take into account. But I just wanted to say today that it's really, really important to sometimes take a break, recharge, not only physically, because your body does need that. Cricket is a sport where you don't realise how much stress goes onto your body and your joints. So that is something you need to take into consideration to recover, to recuperate, to do all the right recovery stuff. But even more important, in my opinion, is to be refreshed mentally. It's so important to be refreshed mentally, because you see a lot of time players taking a break from the game. They're burnt out. They want a weekend off or a few weeks off. And that's simply because cricket is a very mentally challenging game. I believe that cricket is 80% played in the mind and 20% technical. I know some other coaches think it's even more, 90% mental, 10% technical. So your mental point and your mental stamina and precision has to be very, very good, and it has to be, well, the best players tend to have their mental focus and their mental stamina at the highest point possible for a long period of time. Now, they only get there doing it by practice, but along the way you need to learn when to scale back, chill out and relax. So a couple of good suggestions there is you need to find a hobby outside of cricket or something that takes your mind off cricket, because cricket is a very consuming game in all aspects of your life. When you're playing, you don't necessarily switch off after the game. I know for me, when I was playing, if I got out or bowled a bad delivery and it had a big impact in the game, I would be thinking about it for days, sometimes even a week, till my next time I could bat in the middle. And I found it very, very hard to switch off. So finding something to switch off to is the hardest bit, in my opinion. For me, I actually found journaling before games really helped. I used to write stuff down, how I wanted to play, what bowlers I was going to face. And then if I got out in that game plan, then I could kind of put it to bed. But if I got out outside my game plan, I kind of knew it was my fault. Where if I got out inside my game plan, it didn't really matter, because I knew it would be an effective way to make me score runs or take wickets, essentially. But I found being able to journal actually an important part of me learning to be able to switch off, recuperate mentally, to then go back and perform at that level the next day or in 2 days' time. So I found I could sort of decompartmentalise when I was playing cricket, when I was turning up to play, to switch on, to perform, and then when I was going away and I could relax and do other things. There's loads of things that other players do to relax. Some play golf, some go to the cinema, some take up surfing. Whatever it is, you have to find cycling even. A lot of players are now cycling. I know this summer at Sussex, a few of my friends, they were doing long distance cycling like days after play, or even like in between a 4-day game. And usually you want to recover your muscles. But speaking to them, they wanted to do it because they found getting on their bike and cycling around the countryside of Sussex actually really mentally kept them fresh for their game. Yes, of course, it's going to have an adverse effect on your physical performance. But because the season was so much shorter this year, they knew they were going to be tired, but they needed to stay mentally fresh. There's some days they were doing 60, 70, 80-kilometre cycles around Sussex, out for 4 or 5 hours on a bike in the heat. But for them, it switched them off. So it's whatever works for you, and it's not one fits all. There's different ways to switch off, and it will work for different people. It won't just be everyone has to play golf to switch off, but when you find out what works and when you can get away from the game and what you do, it actually becomes quite liberating, because over time when you play, you sometimes turn up to game, and it doesn't matter if you played international cricket, club cricket, age group cricket, whatever it is, there will be games when you turn up and you do not want to play. You do not want to be there. You do not want to play. You're tired, physically, mentally. You might have had personal issues. Your schoolwork might not have gone well. You might have been told off by the teacher. Whatever it is, there will be something in your mind that doesn't want you to be there. But being able to switch off and switch back on makes cricket fun the whole time. And the reason we start when we're young is because we want to be able to play cricket, or we play cricket because it is fun. We don't want to not play because it's not fun. So it's important that we kind of find a way or find something that works for us and learn how to switch on or switch off, but mentally get away from the game and recharge. And me going away on holiday recently, it's been absolutely perfect, because I've managed to go away, recover mentally, refresh myself, physically as well. The sun on my skin, it was amazing. And I've come back the most refreshed I've come back in a long, long time. Now, do I like to have breaks during the season when I'm coaching? 100%. This year was a freak year because of coronavirus. But next year, I will take breaks. I kind of have days where I completely have off from coaching. And that should be the same if you're a player. You know, if you're playing Saturday, Sunday, you don't really need to hit a ball until Wednesday or Thursday. Really, if you're only playing twice a week. You know, some players think, oh, they've had a bad game Monday, Saturday, Sunday. I need to get in the nets Monday, Tuesday. Sometimes you see players go away on holiday for 2 or 3 weeks, come back and get 100. And it's like, they say, oh, I'm playing better now than when I went away. Because 1, they're not thinking about it. 2, they're refreshed. And 3, they're playing for fun and they're enjoying it because they haven't done it for so long. So it's really important that you manage to find something to switch on and switch off. And it's trial and error. As I said, not one fits all. So give it a go. Let me know how you go, because it's quite an interesting subject, because cricket's so mentally challenging. You kind of need to find something to switch off from. Now, it took me a long time to figure this out. I'm a cricket badger. I love it. So sometimes when I go home, I do put, like, if England are playing, I'll put that on. When actually I've been coaching all day and I'm tired and it's just on in the background. But it still has a knock-on effect on me because I'm still in and around cricket. But I've learned to switch off, and it's the same for anyone. It doesn't matter what level you play. Cricket is such a cool game. So just find something that works for you. Shoot me a DM. More than happy to help. On Instagram is the easiest way to reply. So Precise Cricket on Instagram. I'll get back to you and find and we can have a chat really if you want to. So yeah, just being able to switch on and switch off, and when you're at practice and training, going full tilt ahead. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to touch on today with being able to switch on and off. But obviously I've been quiet on the podcast for 2 weeks because we had a nightmare with lockdown coming. We had 4 or 5 good guests lined up, but which is a shame. We're going to try and do it over the internet, but I prefer doing it face to face because I just find it more personal. You can see their emotion rather than a screen, but we'll make it work. But obviously there's been a lot of cricket being played in the IPL. I'm a Mumbai Indians supporter, and it was lovely to see them win the IPL for, I think, the 6th time. So an unbelievable effort by my team, the Mumbai Indians, top of the podium for another year under Mahela Jayawardene and Rohit Sharma. So delighted to see that and see them win. But also there's a lot of cricket coming up. We have the Big Bash starting in a few weeks, which is going to be brilliant. The West Indies are in New Zealand, which is going to be an incredible T20 series especially. I'm not sure if they've got restrictions. I think they're still in biosecure bubbles, because I know there was a breach with some of the West Indian players actually mixing with other people that they weren't supposed to in their team. I think they're in groups of 4 or 5, and they ended up having dinner together and they got shut down for a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to seeing those 2 teams go head to head. 2 of my favourite T20 teams to watch. And then there's a test series after. We also have India going to Australia, which is an unbelievable series. I love watching India in Australia. I'm looking forward to see how much abuse Virat Kohli goes. I know he's not very well liked in Australia and they target him, so it'd be interesting to see how he reacts and see how he performs. So looking forward to seeing that. And also England have travelled to South Africa this week. They are playing a T20 series and ODIs, I believe, in Cape Town and Boland. They're all in biosecure bubbles for 3 or 4 weeks. So it's very interesting. And actually, I was reading today that a couple of the South African players have actually tested positive for COVID-19. So they're isolating, but in a hotel with 50 of them, they have to still be careful. COVID's still quite prevalent and still out there, and it's still a killer. So it'd be interesting to see how the authorities deal with that. Obviously, they've sanctioned them and quarantined them, but you know, if someone's asymptomatic and they might have touched something or been in contact with that person, it could spread like wildfire. But I think that's going to be an unbelievable series down under. Just a shame there's no crowds going to be in there. But it'd be interesting to see what England do with their lineup. Banton, Roy, Bairstow. These guys are at the top of the order. Morgan, Ali's back, Butler, Root, Stokes. There's some phenomenal players back in those lineups. Chris Jordan, Archer. All the guys that got rested in the Pakistan T20 series, they have now come back into the fold. And you can't leave the likes of Archer, Stokes, Butler out. These guys are world superstars. You cannot leave them out from your team for too long. So they'll come in. So it'll be interesting to see what England do. Moeen Ali, of course, don't believe he played that much in the summer. He obviously didn't play that much with RCB in the IPL. So I rate Moeen Ali. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him, where he bats or bowls. If he plays, you know, they might go for Rashid and a part-time spinner in Root. Who knows, really, in South Africa. But it'll be interesting, especially with the T20 World Cup in 12 months' time in India, which is obviously going to be another fantastic spectacle and occasion. But again, this podcast today, nice and short and sweet. If you relate to anything in this, fantastic. Hopefully you will just start to think now about how you're going to be able to switch off, recover and get better. And hopefully you can take some of those key things which I used to do into context. So I hope everyone is well, and I will chat to you all soon.